Alright, so 9.6b, another quick video. Again, the beauty of us being in this situation, which isn't always a good situation, but the beauty is that I really can't teach you a lot all at once, which means that as long as you're keeping up with everything going on one day at a time starting now, you should have a decent life. For those of you who are waiting, because all this stuff is actually due, because it is a homework grade now, I guess, based off of what's going on. But for those of you who are waiting, you're probably going to see all this at once, and I wish you luck. But again, you do have to actually do this work for a grade. Yesterday covers 90% of what you need to know. Our last lesson, I guess, covers 90% of what you need to know. Let's put it together with the translation portion. We should know that y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, which means that a is your first value that's there, that b is the second value that's there, and that c is the third value. So once you know this, your job is just to pretty much practice mastering your skill, because based off of what you should have already done in the last assignment, you know how to do it. The only thing it's going to require is discipline and honesty. If you are taking shortcuts, and this happens all the time, but people take shortcuts, they know it'll cause them to miss a problem, but they constantly lie to themselves and say that it won't be a problem. And then of course that means that we do have a problem, because then you miss a lot of questions. You come to me for help, and the first thing I say is you are doing exactly what I told you not to do for some reason. So other than that, all you really have to do is organize yourself. Again, the way I'm doing it is the way that you should do it, even though you feel like you're probably going to waste energy. The way I like to do it is I like to write my A, B, and C as my main letters off to the side. That way I don't have to go back and look, because sometimes when you look at this you forget the negative, sometimes when you look at this you forget the negative, sometimes when you're looking for C you accidentally look here, sometimes, anything could happen. But if I label A, B, and C and then write out the formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Again, that seems like a lot of writing, but the discipline in doing that means that I have minimized my chance of making a mistake on this to 3%, mainly because the first and highest amount of errors come from trying to do this while thinking about what the letters are. The second thing is when you recognize that you need A and you have to go over here and find it, and you're constantly looking from here to here and trying to make sure you pick the right letter. That's crazy. But the next thing is, again, the discipline part is making sure you substitute using parentheses, which means it should look just like what you saw yesterday. So negative, parentheses, negative 9, plus or minus square root of, parentheses, negative 9 squared minus 4, parentheses, 5, parentheses, 2, all over 2 parentheses. I'm sorry, that's negative 2, which is good. So b squared 4ac. Again, I can do that looking here, over 2 times a, which is 5. Now I do what I did on the computer yesterday, which is simplify the 3 parts. Where's my calculator? So parentheses negative 9 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 2, which is 121 over 10. Now you do have 2 options on this. You can do exactly what we did yesterday, which is you can do the type in the top, so 9 plus square root 121 equals, except because you don't need to do that on the computer, you can just go ahead and simplify this to be 2. And then you can do 9 minus square root 121 equals, and then divide that by 10. I guess that's how you would do it either way, and you get negative 0.2. I guess I didn't do it that way. You would do 9 minus square root of 121 equals, which is negative 2 over 10, which is your negative 0.2. But it is set up for both ways. Again, when I say it's time for you to master it, it means if you like typing the whole thing in, then when you type the whole thing in, you just got to make sure, like we did on our calculator exercise, that you do 9 plus square root 121 equals to get that in there, and then divide by 10, and notice, whoa, oh, sorry, 9 plus square root 121 equals divided by 10 equals, if that's what you're going to do, that's fine. 9 minus square root 121 equals divided by 10 equals, and notice that you get that answer there also. So that works, and if you were to plug those numbers in, which I'm not going to do that, but if you were to plug those numbers in, then you would see that they actually do work out just like they're supposed to. Solve using the quadratic formula. Again, same thing. If I were you, I would always write this first. Again, my students who are serious about doing well will do this. Write your ABC, write the formula. Doesn't take a lot of time. It actually doesn't kill you at all. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, which is negative parentheses 5 plus or minus 5 squared 4 negative 4 negative 1 all over 2 times negative 4. I'm sorry, 2 times negative 4. I knew the answer, so I said it. And again, once you do the disciplinary part of writing your ABC, write the formula, and substitute everything using parentheses, now it becomes like you did yesterday. Negative 5 plus or minus square root of, plug this in, parentheses 5 squared minus 4, negative 4, and negative 1 equals 9. Did I really do that twice? It's accidental. All over negative 8. And again, once you do that, what you do from here is up to you, but I suggest that all of you should have this, that, and then your substitution portion, and then your simplify portion. From there, again, whether you do the top and then write the fraction and divide, or whether you type the whole thing in, I'm just going to type the whole thing in. But again, carefully, negative 5 plus square root 9 equals, divided by negative 8 equals 0.25, comma, negative 5 minus square root 9 equals, divided by negative 8 equals. Again, what we talked about, this was on your lesson from before we left school. I think it was the very last lesson we had, which was a calculator activity. So you should have that in your Math Excel, in your Edpuzzle videos, so you might want to watch that if you need to see that again. But what I showed you was that you're supposed to type the top, hit equals, and divide, because otherwise it throws off your order of operations. And then the last question, again, same thing. Really no need to do it, but for the sake of practice, a is equal to 6, b is equal to negative 23, c is equal to 5. So we write this out, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, negative parentheses negative 23, negative 23 squared minus 4, 6, 5 all over 2 times 6. Again, still not to the point where we want to dive off the board yet, but after this step we can. So net 23, which becomes positive because that was a double negative, negative 23 squared minus 4, 6, 5 is 409 all over 12. Again, notice I don't use a calculator there, but I use it in here and to type this in carefully. And again, 23 plus square root 409 equals, divided by 12 equals 3.60. Actually, for you on this, it'll just be 3.6, because if you put the 0 after, it doesn't like it. And then 23 minus square root 409 equals, divided by 12 equals 0.23. And so that would be your two answers for it. So again, the idea you should be having right now is that you actually do need to start getting these things done. I would say that if you're behind, I would get caught up as soon as possible, because I am doing one lesson per day, and these lessons, as we get closer to the end of the year, might get a little bit more. And in order for you to actually get the credit for this quarter, you have to actually finish the work. So it has to be proof on Math Excel that you did what you're supposed to do, and then that'll be it. Also, for those of you who failed the third quarter and want to try to figure out some sort of a plan to get it back, luckily the videos are online for you, and you need to contact me. I am not going to contact you. That is not my job. That is your job if you want to fight for it, which you did not already. But again, if that's what you want to do, you need to talk to me. It doesn't mean it'll be easy, and you still have to actually do the work from here. But if that's what you're trying to do, you need to email me so I know you're interested, and I can try to come up with something of a contract for you to have done by a certain time, because it's not going to be something that goes beyond the end of the school year. So again, keep in mind, especially if you're in sports, if you got an F in the third quarter, you probably don't want to play around with failing the third quarter, because it might mess with your credit somehow. Because again, we still don't know how we're doing this situation here. But again, I would suggest that if you have any F, that you take the initiative that you were supposed to take 3 months ago, 2 months ago, and let me know you're interested in trying to pass. And like I said, I'll try to figure out what's going to happen. Other than that, have a good day. And like I said, go to MathXL. Same game as yesterday. There's 7 questions. Your goal is to try to get 5 of them right. If you can get 5 of them right in a row, then you're probably where you need to be. If you get to 3 or 4, then that's still solid. And like I said, you'll be seeing one of these hopefully on your homework every day anyway. So other than that, like I said, good luck and have a good day.